throw away every smart home sensor you have, because this is now the only smart home sensor that you need in every single room. It's the brand new Aqara FP300. It senses light, reads the temperature, the humidity for ambient environmental data, uses a PIR for motion, and believe it or not, it even has a 60 GHz mmWave radar to understand room occupancy, whether you're moving or not. But to add even further delight, it runs off its own internal battery with a suggested 2 to 3 years of runtime, making this the ultimate smart home sensor you'll want for every home automation. This is a huge upgrade to the previous FP2. Sort of. Actually, there's a bit of an asterisk here, because although it can do a hell of a lot more, and it's got some serious upgrades, it might actually be more of a side grade than people are making out. So do you really need one? Especially if you already have a few FP2s knocking around already. Now, from a design perspective, the two look relatively similar. And unfortunately, it is still pretty soulless. Obviously, this isn't an isolated issue, it's a symptom of smart home tech in general, but from a functionality perspective, the two couldn't be more different. Unlike the FP2, the 300 has now got the temperature, humidity and light sensors built into it, which makes it multifunctional and lessens the clutter and obfuscation of your smart home. Over the years, I'll admit it here that my smart home has become somewhat of a cluttered mess. In part because I test a billion different smart home products every single year, but also in part because I've slowly added to my smart home over the years, and then I've needed multiple sensors to do multiple automations that I've set up. For example, in most of my rooms, I've got some form of sensor that tells me the temperature and humidity of that room, and I use those sensors to turn on and off various other devices such as dehumidifiers and heaters in those rooms. Then, as time has gone on, I've added other things like motion detectors that use PIR to sense movement. And that way I'm able to automate certain devices turning on or off, like TVs or curtains opening and closing when there's movement in that room, or things turning off automatically if no movement is detected after a short period of time, say 30 minutes. Now then came along the FP2, which allowed me to add true occupancy to reduce errors in those motion censored routines, where the PIR sensors didn't trigger because I was sat perhaps unusually still for a long period of time. The FP2 solved that problem because it meant that it could then just monitor me sat there and tell whether or not I was sitting still, even in that room. Anyway, point being, I found that I've added multiple sensors for almost every single room just to run my automations. But what this means is that I've got a cluttered smart home with a billion different devices that I've got to scroll through in the apps to get to the one that I need, but also it's resulted in a cluttered home with more white soulless sensors than I'd like dotted around each room. But now that the FP300 has temperature, humidity and light built into it, it means that all of my routines and automations that I previously used several sensors for can all run from one device, decluttering the rooms both digitally and physically. So although the design still leaves a lot to desire, at least it's shrinking how many of those soulless little devices I have around the room. And for me, that is almost good enough reason to get one of these as it is. But my lights can now come on when it senses a drop in ambient light. My heaters can now come on when it senses a drop in the temperature. My dehumidifier can start to run if it senses humidity creeping higher. Honestly, this is such a good little sensor for all of those things. But really, these sensors are just sweeteners for the main course of this product, which is obviously the motion and occupancy detection. Now, this is quite interesting because the FP2, the previous version, doesn't actually have PIR like this. The FP2 only has mmWave radar capabilities, and you might ask, why does this new one need PIR if it's got mmWave? Well, Quite simply for accuracy, including both means that you get the best of both worlds. You get the super fast accuracy of the motion detector, which is low energy, detecting you as soon as you so much cross a threshold into a room, triggering your automations for things like lights and televisions turning on much faster than mmWave can. Because typically mmWave is more power hungry and therefore it only reads every so often after an interval, and I'll get onto that shortly. But by adding that mmWave with its ability to sense if someone is in the room, moving or not, if you were perhaps sat in a trance-like state whilst you question life's choices, watching the final season of Stranger Things ruin 43 hours of storytelling over the past decade, the lights and TV won't actually turn off due to your inactivity and being passed out. They should stay on based on your presence in that room, although, to be fair, I kind of wish the television had turned off. Staring at a black screen would have been narratively more interesting and satisfying than the ChatGPT mess of a script the Duffer Brothers came up with. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Back to this. So, although it doesn't necessarily need it, it's made a really positive impact on its ability to sense presence, and more accurately than the FP2 did. And whilst the FP2 wasn't bad at that, on rare occasions it might take a moment or two for it to register, as I said earlier. The FP300 just seems to be more consistently quicker, and it's absolutely down to that combination of the two sensors. Now, here's where my side grade comment comes in, because although the 300 is more accurate from a dual sensor perspective and slightly quicker to react, Aqara have decided to focus more on a simpler experience and simpler automation triggers than the FP2. With the FP2, you used to be able to set up particular detection zones so you can move around the room and trigger automations not just on whether someone was in the room or not, but where they were in that room. This was super handy in our old editing room where we had two desks, and it meant that when one desk was occupied, everything would be on, but the moment you stood up and moved away from the desk, everything would turn off, and the other one would turn off if you go to that. With the FP300, when you put it in a room, you can send it through an AI learning cycle so that it essentially understands what the room would look like on the radar without any humans, and then you can set your detection range up to 6 meters, but you don't have the finer detail that you had on the FP2. We've only got binary data points to run automations from, presence or absence. And it takes a maximum of 10 seconds by default to report presence based on the mmWave. So when you activate, or when you walk into a room or activate the sensor, it can take up to a full 10 seconds before things to turn off or turn on, and the state to change from absence to presence or the other way around. Now, it's likely that this change in how it reports presence and absence is simply due to Aqara chopping the unnecessary fat to make it do what I think is this device's superpower over the FP2, and it's the fact that it runs off batteries. Now, this was one of the major drawbacks of the FP2, and it's the singular reason why I only had a couple of them dotted around the house, in that there's no way of powering them other than supplied power through USB-C, which means unless you wanted stood on a shelf or cabinet, you'd have to trail horrible cables up and down your wall to power it, which is far from ideal. But the godsend that is this, the FP300 has solved this problem for me, and it's a massive encouragement to add more of these throughout the house than I did with the FP2. What's more crazy though is that the battery life of this, as I mentioned earlier, is reportedly up to 3 years, but there's another asterisk here because it'll really depend on how you use it and what you do with it that will depend on how long you get out of it. For example, Aqara suggests that if you use this through Zigbee, you'll get 3 years of battery life. Use it through Thread and this drops to 2 years. Likewise, if you use it in high traffic areas, then it'll last a lot less time than if you used it somewhere like a bedroom where you might only go in and out a few times a day. And then outside of this, you're moving around pretty minimally because you're just in bed. So although Aqara quotes some incredible battery life here, I would at least temper some expectations. That said, the app does have a ton of customization options that can help you get the most out of the internal battery. You can actually increase or decrease the frequency of the temperature, humidity and light readings. And the lower the frequency, the longer the battery life. But they're less reactive to the sensors or changes around it, which would be unsuitable for some automations, I guess. Now, I'm not sure what the timings are of these frequencies, and I wish it said how long it was in between each frequency, but you can, in fact, add a custom frequency, which lets you, at that point, fully customize the sample interval, so the time in between each reading, and then you can also change the reporting interval, so the time in between the sensor sending that report back to the hub. And you can even use a threshold instead, so that it'll send a report after a percentage change of the data points, which I think is an incredible level of customization for a native device. Although slight asterisk again here, this level of customization is only available if you're using it through Zigbee and a compatible Aqara hub, in my case the M3. If you're using it through Thread, you do lose some of the customizability, unfortunately. So it is absolutely worth using it within the Aqara ecosystem for those maximum control and routines. And actually, another thing you can customize and control is you can actually turn off the temperature, humidity, and light sensors completely if you have no intention on using those data points. And likewise, you can even turn off the PIR or mmWave functionality too, and change the reporting time in between those states, with 10 seconds being the fastest report. Now, obviously, turning off either the mmWave or PIR sensors increases the battery life by quite a bit. But then, in my opinion, you're dropping one of the major benefits of this combined movement and presence sensing capability. So I won't be doing that. Now, I can't, of course, prove or verify the battery claims, not unless I want to release my review 2 years later than everyone else. But that point to aside, I think it's super impressive that they've managed to make the technology inside this run so efficiently that it can run off battery, if at all. I mean, even if it ran for a year, you would colour me impressed. But perhaps the most impressive thing about this device is not that Aqara have managed to pack all of this incredible technology into a tiny, tiny device that runs off battery. For me, it's the price. For how many sensors this can replace, and given that the FP2 sat upwards of £80 on its release, I expected something similar. But I was wrong. The RRP of this device is just £49.99, which is astounding value for everything that this can do and everything that this can replace. Even if you bought a motion sensor, a temperature sensor, humidity sensor, light sensor, and even if you managed to find a combined one and went for the cheapest possible option that still offered smart home connection, you'd be looking at nearer the price of this sensor alone. And that's before you even consider the mmWave functionality. Add one of those into the mix, perhaps a cheaper option from another brand, you've immediately exceeded the cost of this sensor. So the fact that this does it all at the price it's at, I mean, this alone should tell you how much I love this thing. If you want to take a look at it for yourselves and you want the current price, I'll drop a link in the description below so you can take a look. And as always, if you're on TV, on the telly box, you can scan that QR code there and you'll go straight to this device. And if you do get one, or if you've already got one, I would love to know how you're using it, because I'm really just scratching the surface of its capabilities. So please let me know in the comments below. But look, take its ability to combine all of the functions that I currently use multiple sensors for, with the fact that it has mmWave capabilities and runs off battery and costs a significant amount less than the FP2. I meant what I said at the start. You can literally throw every single smart home sensor you've got in the bin, because, mark my words, at the time of this episode, nothing compares that I'm aware of. And I'll slowly but surely be phasing everything I've got in my house out in favour of adding one of these into every single bedroom without a doubt. So, Aqara, bloody well done.